Hi, everyone. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and this is the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, the music podcast on where I interview singers and musicians from genres of black music: gospel, jazz, blues, old school classic soul, old school hip hop, today's hip hop and R&B, Caribbean, Latin, Afrobeat, Afro-Latina, blue-eyed soul, disco, go-go, line dances, and the Lost 45s. So come with me as I take you on to a trip to the destination genre of black music right now on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Legal Shield is a proud sponsor of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Have you been involved in any types of accidents? Have you been a victim of identity theft? Have you been a victim of a computer fraud scam? Have you been in disputes with your tenants or landlords? If your loved one dies and they didn't write up a will for you or for your family, or you and your spouse are filing for divorce, or if you need help by opening up your small business, give Legal Shield a try. Visit their website at LegalShield.com and tell them you heard it here on the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Do it today. You'll be glad you did. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., creator and host of the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. Now, before I bring up my special guest, I have good news to share with you. I have a new website, and you can look for it at the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. That's right, folks. I have a new website called the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. If you have a computer, laptop, notebook, or if you have a desktop computer and it has either MSN or AOL, make sure you type in the name of my podcast website, the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. And if you have Google on your smartphone, make sure you type in the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. That's where you find all of my news blogs, or whatever you want to call it. That's where I tell you what's going to be on the next episode for the entire month. So please check out my website and please pass it on. Make sure you check out my website, the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. That's the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast.com. In the meantime, enjoy today's episode and thank you for your support. Welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience. I'm Sam Wilson Jr., and I have a special guest on my show, and it's today's hip hop and R&B episode. This gentleman that I'm about to introduce is a Grammy Award-winning songwriter, producer, and music engineer, and now he's a singer. He has worked with the biggest names in all genres of music: hip-hop, gospel, jazz, pop, and punk music. You can check out his new song called My Hands on Your Body, which is available right now on iTunes, and you can check out the music video, also available right now on YouTube. Please help me welcome to the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. His name is Deezle. What up,
Thanks,
Deezle?
Sam.
How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm great. I'm a lot of beautiful good fortune, and my 3-year-old just made 3 today. She turned 3 today, so a lot of ice cream and cake later. So it's a good day all around. And
Alrighty,
also
well,
NBA YoungBoy sampled my song Mrs. Officer. Well, not sampled it, used my whole track. So that's a good thing too. The hottest rap in the game at this moment used one of my tracks again. So I'm happy about all of that. So it's a great day.
bro. Yes, well, it's a great day and it's a pleasure to have you here on my show. Thank you for coming on to my show. As you know, the old saying, we always have those technical difficulties, but
Right.
there's an old saying, sometimes you just got to play around with it until you get used to it.
Right,
So I'm very
absolutely.
delighted to have you here.
I'm really grateful to be here and thankful. for this interview, my brother, and the good energy, and for working me through and working us through getting the technical difficulties out the way so we can actually have a great interview. I'm looking forward to it.
Alrighty. All right, so we're going to talk about all of your accolades. We're going to talk about that a little bit later on in
Okay,
the show. So, as always, America doesn't know who you are, the world doesn't know who you are. So, I'm very delighted to have you here on this show. So, let's get this party started.
let's do it.
Alrighty, now let's get to know you a bit. Where were you born and what type of environment you were raised in?
So I'm from born and raised in New Orleans, Louisiana. I'm originally from my father's side of the family is from Holly Grove, which is the same neighborhood Lil Wayne and Jay Jones and all the 0017th guys, a bunch of my friends are from. And then on my mother's side, I'm from Elm Street. And that was when Freddy Krueger was popular. So I used to sleep with a butcher knife. But the environments were, it was the hood, so it was, you know, people getting shot and stuff like that. But also the culture was super rich because on Elm Street, we were one house away from the Baptiste brothers, who is the fathers and the uncles. But then you got Jamal Baptiste, Russell Baptiste, Damon Baptiste, and John Baptiste, who's the piano
For the
player.
late show, yes.
Yeah,
Hmm.
exactly. So John John's family grew up next to my family, and like my aunt is his cousin's godmother. So, there was also that part of being on Elm Street, and then in Holly Grove, my uncles played with touring musicians around the city, but they also toured in other states regionally. So it was fun. It was fighting and girls jumping double dutch and hopscotch and playing football in the street, and it was fun. It was childhood, you know.
Right. Now, which high school did you go to?
So I went to St. Augustine High School, the Mighty Purple, and I was in the marching band, and ended up being drum major of that band. But that band boasts the likes of uh, Jay Electronica, Lawrence Parker, who used to manage Jay Electronica, Winston Turner, who's with the Brassaholics, myself, John Baptiste. So like he won the Grammy with the band. I won my Grammys, with Wayne. But just to name a few, that's cool. Wynton Marsalis, Terrence Blanchard, so many cats who graduated from St. Aug, especially in music and sports as well, like Tyron Matthew, uh, Leroy Horde, uh, Kerry Kittles, who played for the Nets. It was like so many people have really blossomed and flourished from being in that place, and the camaraderie and brotherhood that we have. It's kind of like a fraternity. Well, now it is a fraternity because we got beat together and all that. Because that was the last school where there was corporal punishment, so you could actually still get paddled in the early two up to like 2010, I want to say. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. So we got beat together, all that stuff.
wow. And which college did you go to, and what was your major in college?
So I went to Xavier for biology pre med first. Then, when my father died my freshman year, and I had also realized that I made the decision to study pre med because I wanted to make at least a $500,000 a year. I knew that coming out of high school. And I thought, in this environment, in this city at that time, how could I possibly make $500,000 a year?
Mm.
I said, oh, I could be a lawyer or a doctor. Those were that was the vision, coming from the hood and coming from like, places where you didn't know about other businesses that made a lot of money. Like we didn't have that information or the people to tell us, yo, you could do this or you could do that. So I went to Xavier for pre med. My father died in my freshman year, and I studied bio pre med for 2 years, but I would find myself in the labs in the morning just dozing off, like because I'd be up all night making music on my keyboards and recording on my two boom boxes. And I wasn't interested in reading a biology book, even though I love science. So I left, I went to UNO, University of New Orleans, and joined the music department because I wanted to make records, but I was singing, so I was a vocal performance major. So I got to study with Dr. Valerie Francis, who won the Metropolitan Opera competition as a soprano,
Mm-hmm.
and Leah Chase, who's a famous jazz singer, who's also related, who's the daughter of Leah Chase, who had Dookie Chase restaurant down here, the famous restaurant that presidents eat at and stuff like that. And that was really supportive uh, during the times when black people couldn't eat at restaurants with white folks. So, that's the pedigree of teachers that I had, including Ellis Marcellus, who was Wynton Marcellus's dad. He
Right.
was one of my theory teachers, and he used to tease me a lot and pick on me and act like I wasn't practicing, but I was practicing. And Harold Baptiste, who wrote Sam Cooke arrangements, string arrangements, and was a producer. He had a record label called All for One Records, and these were the kind of cats that were at UNO who helped to guide my path. So I was you know on my path to becoming a full-on opera singer to compete in the Metropolitan Opera competition. Then I was like, that's still not what I want to do. I want to make records. I came here because I want to make records, but there was no production program in schools at that time. So I ended up leaving. I had all my credits. I have my degree, but I didn't want to finish the music program. So I quit, got a job, ended up meeting a guy with a studio, and then that started my studio career, my record making career.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
Yeah,
Well, yes. Well, first of all, my condolences goes out to you in the loss of your father.
I
Now,
appreciate it.
when you were young,
Mhm.
who did you want to be when you grew up? You mentioned a singer, you mentioned those other odd jobs, but who did you really want to be when you grow up?
So I've always been cool with myself and like I
Mhm.
like me, but the kind of career success that I wanted was that of a Quincy Jones, of the cats from the Sound of Philadelphia, who were making, the great records that people liked and that people still sample and you put on at an event and everybody's jamming.
Mhm.
That's the kind of music that I desired to make. But I wanted to be me. Like I didn't want to be anybody else. I wanted to be me.
Now, how old were you when you started writing songs for different artists?
For different artists, I was 19, not for like, national artists. These were local artists. But I started writing songs at 16 for myself. But then once people started to hear my material and started hearing the tracks I was putting together, they started wanting me to do stuff for them. And, initially I was like, you know, I don't sell beats because I'm making songs for myself.
Mhm.
But then somebody was like, hey man, who made your beats? I said, me. And they were like, you sell beats? And I was like, I do now.
Now that you've been writing songs for other artists as well as producing and working behind the scenes, and now that you're a singer, was all of that your calling?
Well, I've been singing for a long time, but I'm letting people know me as a singer nationally, like actually promoting it. Because I used to do shows and I used to, do a bunch of shows. I would put people like 500 people to 1,000 people in a venue to come and see just me. And I was promoting my own shows, passing out my own flyers. And I went behind the scenes to build my credibility because I was like, this is cool. Just I'm selling CDs, I'm selling shirts, but what I really need to do is build my credibility so that when I do come back out front as the artist, then I can say, "Oh, I did this, I did that, I did this, I did that. Oh, that over there, did that. That jazz stuff over there, yep, did that." So I've been fortunate to have my hand in a lot of different pots, and the food came out good.
Mm, wow. Now, growing up, who were some of your favorite singers?
So, of of course, the greats. I listen to especially at this time you would call very old music, like because my parents and grandparents would play Brooke Benton, uh, Sam Cooke. Let's see who else. The Old Temptations records, a lot of Motown stuff. I still
Mhm.
listen to it just for a refresher course and writing and making stuff jam. But you then you got your Marvin, your Stevie, the
Mhm.
typical ones. I listen to Smokey Robinson because he's such a great writer, Lionel Richie because he's such a great writer. And
Mhm.
then moving on into the the 80s and 90s, I was listening to like Jodeci, Albie Shore, LL Cool J. He was because he was such a great writer. Uh,
Mhm.
Run DMC,
Mhm.
and then also I was listening to like Depeche Mode and Tears for Fears on that side of
Mhm.
things. And then I moved into the 2000s R&B and the stuff that Bad Boy Entertainment, no matter what you know Diddy's going through, or no matter what R. Kelly is going through, it's still jamming.
Uh-huh.
Like you can't deny it. And
Mhm.
of course, Michael Jackson, young and old. I
Mhm.
listened to those records because those were master classes in how to make hit records.
Mm.
So I had my ears open, for a long time to what worked and what didn't. Even Sarah Vaughan, Ella Fitzgerald,
Mhm.
Billy Eckstine, Billie Holiday,
Mhm.
all that stuff.
Wow. And who were your musical influences that had inspired you to do what you're doing today?
Well, like I said, Quincy Jones, his production always made my dad's speakers sound like they sounded like the money that I saw him pay for them
Mhm.
because he had these Cerwin Vega three-way uh 12-inch with the 12-inch woofers. And when Quincy's records would come on, the Gap Band records would come on, when the music from Philadelphia would come on, like the records just sounded so big and so like high def and punchy, and you felt the kicks and the bass and the vocals were crisp and clear. So I started noticing because I'm I'm also an audiophile, so I'm like I'm a nut about sound because if it's not right, it's gonna bother me
Mm-hmm.
forever. So I started noticing that certain records didn't sound as good as those, and I was wondering why. Because I'm like, if y'all all professionals, and all these studios have all this great equipment, then why does this set of records sound better than this set over here? And I started reading credits and seeing who was doing what and what studios they were using, what engineer it was. And every time I would see Bruce Within's name, the record also sounded incredible. Every time I saw Quincy Jones' name, when I saw David Foster's name, I'm like, yeah, this you turn this on, it's popping.
Mm-hmm.
So that was like what influenced me to want to be uh, in the category with those cats as far as quality and the interestingness of the production and the way it doesn't let your ear go. Like it keeps you the ear candy, the
Mm-hmm.
different things, the changes, the different nuances that are added here and taken away there and stuff. So that's what really made me dive into that way.
Mm-hmm. Now, before you made your solo debut, you were also the producer who had worked with many artists, including Drake,
Hmm.
Jennifer Lopez, Nicki Minaj, Chris Brown, and others.
Hmm.
You will also co produced Lil Wayne's top 10 hit back in
Yeah,
2008, Lollipop.
yeah.
What's it like being a producer for those artists that I've just mentioned?
So those are uh, really cool people. Like I remember Nikki in the beginning. That's when we worked together, and she was a girl from Jamaica, Queens. She was really cool, down to earth, really serious about her craft. And she would ask me, Deezle, what do you think this sounds like? Like, do I sound good? And I was like, Nikki, you sound great. Just keep going. And she asked me like 3 or 4 times. And on the last time, I said, look, I said, if you ask me if you sound good one more time, I'm gonna stop recording you because you sound great. Like you really killing it. You really killing it. You doing a phenomenal job. And if you were not doing great, I would absolutely tell you because I have no problem doing that. Because I don't want to waste my time doing something that's not going to be great, or at least putting the effort to make it great. But and then Wayne, Wayne's a workhorse, and Wayne super creative, super talented. And the thing that I like about him is if you give him, especially a subject matter, he's so
Mhm.
genius. He can take that subject around the world and find different connections from different cultures, from different subject matters that connect to that subject matter, and he'll take you around it and then right back to it. Chris is super cool and super talented. Jennifer, a sweetheart, and and driven, and clearly successful. And Drake, super cool too. Like, and I gotta tell you, he every couple like year or so, one of his records ends up with Lollipop in it. So I'm extra thankful. Yeah, I'm extra thankful. Like he's, you know, he helping me feed my kids. So I'm definitely grateful for that.
Wow.
Yeah.
Because when I first heard that song, Lollipop, I'll be at a afterward party on Fridays, and they were playing that song. let's say like, oh, when he's talking about lollipop, I have to
Mm,
explain it to our audience. Now,
right,
he's not talking about the word lollipop, like the Tootsie Roll Pop and the
right,
Charms Lollipop. He's talking
right.
about the other one, but we're not going to say this on this
All right,
episode. So
cool,
I'll let the
cool.
audience fill in the blanks and they
Leave
have
it to
to,
the imagination.
right, leave it to the imagination. That's right. Now, let's talk about your new single, My Hands on Your Body. Please share with our audience on what that song is about.
So that song is about an intimate moment between one person and another. For it was personal for me, but the experience was that I was with someone and they had a long day at work, and she was stressed out and like just kind of in a bad, not kind of, she was in a bad mood, but it wasn't with me, it wasn't my fault or anything like that. She was
Mhm.
just had a day, and I was like, lay down and like just relax. So I started massaging her and like, you know, just rubbing her body and caressing her body. And she went, and I was like, that's a song. And now you have it, my hands on your body. And, the instructional part is on the bridge. So it's like, there's some instruction in it too. So no need to think too hard about what to do,
Right.
ladies.
Now, yes. Now, I got a chance to check out the music video on YouTube. And just like
Hmm.
you said, you know, just the imagination. So we'll let the audience check it out,
Cool,
and for those who want to hear the other one, they'll have to leave that when they go to the nightclubs and they have those dirty versions and stuff like
cool.
that. So anyway, now you
Well,
won
this
three
song doesn't
Grammy.
have a dirty version.
Oh,
This
okay,
song is
perfect.
all clean.
Oh, perfect, perfect.
Yeah, so
Yeah, cause
like when I write songs, they're generally
mm-hmm,
clean. The They're as dirty as you make them in your mind, but
right,
the words are, I don't really curse in my songs because I want my songs to play on the radio and I want my songs to play at family functions. I want my songs to play
yes,
in at public events.
mm-hmm,
So I do most of my focusing when it comes to how the content's going to be received on it
right,
being able to be received by a broader audience.
right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because as a DJ myself, and I do
Hmm.
play different gigs at different functions, where it's graduation party as well as, party for the seniors and retirements. And yeah, for those sweet 16 graduation stuff, because I'm an uncle of two nieces.
Hmm.
So I always be careful on what song do I play.
Right.
So they got the clean version and then you got the dirty version.
Right.
So you always have to have something for everyone. So you always have to play the clean version, just for the family functions and everything.
Right.
But when you at the club for the grown folks, and I mean like after work party Friday night, then they can play what they can play.
Right.
So as a consumer myself, I always have to be careful and make sure which one do I have to play, which is suitable for all audiences.
Right. Well, with my
Yes.
personal songs, you
Hmm.
can 99% of the time count on it that it's going to be clean
Hmm.
because I know how valuable that is when it comes to career longevity and what
Right.
people are able to play.
Yes. Now, you won three Grammy Awards for Best Songwriting and Producer. Who were the artists that you took care of that won you three Grammy Awards?
So Wayne and I won together. So on the Carter 3, I was an engineer, I was a producer, and I was a songwriter.
Mhm.
So because with the Grammys, if you participate in over 51% of an album, you can win a Grammy in an artist category if that artist wins as well.
Right.
So I won in the artist category uh, and independently as a producer. So songwriter, producer, and engineer. So he and I won Grammys together. He won 5 and I won 3.
Mm, okay. Now that you are a singer and you have that added to your resume and your new song that we just talked about a few minutes
Hmm.
ago, how would you describe your sound?
You know, I've never been picky about genre or wanted to be called a this kind of singer or a that kind of singer. Just like I feel as a producer, I tell rappers this all the time. If you're a rapper, rap. If
Mhm,
you can rap, rap. Rap on Sesame Street music and rap on gangster music and everything in between.
mhm,
If you can rap, rap
right.
on EDM music, rap on go-go music, rap on bounce music, which is from New Orleans, rap on break beats, on rap over some bebop jazz. Like
Mhm,
rap if you can rap.
mhm,
So
mhm,
as far as singing is concerned, I don't limit myself to a genre. I consider myself a multi-genre artist because I currently and have been for the last 30 years doing jazz records with Donald Harrison Jr., who was my mentor, who mentored Biggie Smalls, had him learning jazz solos and rapping like he was scatting. I've done EDM music and performed at Electric Daisy Carnival in Mexico for thousands of people. Um, I love singing jazz songs and plan to do like a vocal jazz album. But right now, Donald and I are doing a sax and vocal jazz R&B project. So we're working on that. But I also, when I feel like it, I rap. Or sometimes I'm not necessarily singing. I'm talk singing, or it's a tool. It's an instrument. So for me to limit it to just one style or one genre for myself is something that I can't do because I do what feels good and what sounds good. And, I do it in English, I do it in Spanish, I do it in Spanglish. It, to me, it doesn't matter. What matters is that it sounds great and people like it. So, if anything, I would call myself a multi-genre artist or just an
mhm.
artist.
Okay. Now, will you be doing any collaboration with any artists in the upcoming months ahead or at the end of the year?
So, right now, we are putting the finishing touches on a co-release with Mac Phipps and I. So Mac is people know him as No Limit Mac or Mac Phipps. Uh, we're doing a co-release. We haven't named it yet, but the first single, Testarossa, is out, and I'm singing on that one, and Mac is rapping. But that album is a co-release, so I'm actually featured vocally on 5 or 6 songs, and I produced the whole album. So it was intended and is a co-release with a producer and an artist. Like Nas and Premier did a co-release recently. That's the same thing that Mac and I had started doing before Nas's album even came out, and it was like, yeah, we're gonna do this together. I'm a producer, or like Alchemist will produce an album with Currency, and it'll be a co-release with them too. So it's that kind of thing, and that is coming out soon. We don't have a release date yet, but we're planning that. Actually, we're meeting tomorrow to finalize those things. And then Donald Harrison and I have uh, a single out called The Magic Touch that is done. It's a multi-genre single, so this is something that we well, Donald coined the phrase, and it was his idea to do one single, but do it in 10 different styles. The first 9 styles get combined on the 10th version of it all together. So it's like you got the bebop version, the smooth jazz version, the the R&B version, the soul version, the reggae version, the blues version, the a funkier version, the nouveau swing version, which is Donald's genre that he created. Uh, and I'm missing another one, but then those 9 get combined and gumboed into a 10th version. So that is out currently. And what else? Those are the 3 main things. Like my single, Mac and I's album, and the album with Donald and I.
Okay. Wow. Now, while you're not performing, you participated in the Son of Saint Song Louis Armstrong Foundation and the Jazz Heritage Foundation.
Hmm.
How did you get a chance to take the time out on those causes that you participated in?
Well, those things are really important because I understand. Like I said, I had a father, so I understand what it's like to have leadership that cares about you and that will invest time and energy and knowledge into you. So when I came back home 3 years ago from Los Angeles, I was seeing the need for people in our microcosm of the world in New Orleans. I was seeing people that needed music business mentorship or like production mentorship, songwriting mentorship, and I knew that that was a way to keep students, youth, even older cats focused and really understanding how to have success. And I wanted to share that. And I got asked to do the jazz camp. As a matter of fact, Donald Harrison was the one who asked me to do the jazz camp with the Louis Armstrong Foundation. And we do the Louis Armstrong Jazz Camp every summer. And registration time is actually now. So if anybody listening wants to, has someone under the age of, say, 21 that wants to be a part of a jazz camp with like greats who play around the world and who play with other superstars, then they should look up the Louis Armstrong uh, Jazz Camp. But I got asked to do it, and I was like, of course, because Donald and I started a summer jazz camp back in like 2000 when I was a teenager, and I was helping him, show high school students how to use the MPCs and how to use the drum machines and the keyboards and how to program and how to use Pro Tools and all that stuff. So that was something I had been doing for years already. But when I came back, I was even more inspired to be involved and to really dig in here. And I have the business knowledge now. I can share that. I have even more expertise in production and in songwriting. And I can, I know that I can make a hit record. So I know that I can guide someone to doing so. All they have to do is get out of their own way.
Mm, Okay. Yes. Now, here's a question that I always ask my guests:
Mm.
living or dead, which artist that you wish you wanted to meet or to perform or to produce their albums with?
Michael Jackson.
Final answer.
Michael Jackson, bro. Mike Jack. I so
Okay.
wanted to do his album, and there was a point where when I was living in Atlanta after Katrina, right after
Hmm.
Katrina, a
Hmm.
friend of mine asked me if I had any records for Michael Jackson. And I said, I'll make something. And I made a record, uh, and it was really dope. Like it sounded like it was supposed to come right after Dangerous, because it was like it was Mike all the way. And he ended up passing, and I wasn't able to get it to him, obviously. But that was that was one I was like, man, I couldn't work with Mike.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes. Mhm. Now, here on the Black Soul Music Experience, I always ask my guests, who are the top 10 R&B black artists of all time? So since I
Hmm.
have you, Deezle, we're about to do the Black Soul Music Experience top 10 today's hip hop and R&B artists of all time. Now, here's how it works.
Hmm.
We do it like the top 10 countdown, like the show, America's Top 10, hosted by the late Casey Kasem. We
Okay.
start at the bottom five. We want to find out who was the best singer or best rapper, but didn't get any recognition. In other words, they were on that record label, but the record
Hmm.
label that they were on wasn't marketed or promoted like it's supposed to be. When
Okay.
we get up to the top five, we will
Hmm.
find out who was the best selling million artist of all time. Did that artist receive those top 10 number one hits? Did
Hmm.
that artist had their albums or 45s that had a gold or platinum or double platinum or triple platinum or
Okay.
today's diamond platinum? Did that artist win a Grammy or an American Music Award or a
Hmm.
BET Award or a Soul Train Award or an MTV VMA Award? Did that artist got inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame? Did that artist perform the American Bandstand or Soul Train or the Midnight Special or
Hmm.
NBC's Saturday Night Live or Solid Gold? Did they
Hmm.
had their music video aired either on BET or MTV or
Hmm.
VH1? Did they had their live prime time special, whether it was on CBS or NBC or ABC? Or
Hmm.
did they had that special on PBS? Whether it was great performances or on Sesame Street, or did they had their special airing during Pledge Month, or did they had that live concert special aired on HBO or
Hmm.
Showtime? So,
Gotcha.
Diesel, are you ready to take this challenge?
Yeah. So bottom five, right?
Yeah, we start at the bottom five. We should be at number 10.
Okay. I can't say I would absolutely put it in this order, but like Brent Fayez, I feel like Brent doesn't get the recognition or the
Okay.
the push that he deserves, 'cause he's super dope to me.
Mhm.
Um,
Okay.
then you got Eric Bellinger, who's super dope, who um, I feel with better promotion, and this is all my opinion, but I feel with better promotion and better support,
Mhm.
uh, would really do well. Uh, hmm, I feel like Mooney Long could use some more promotion because she's super dope too.
Oh, yeah, that's the one who's saying hours, hours. That's the name.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah, and that
Okay.
song is huge.
Mhm.
But I don't know if the world knows her name, like,
Mhm.
but that
Yeah.
song is incredible.
Mhm.
Um, that's three, right?
Yeah, we're up to number seven.
Okay, number seven. Hmm. There's a guy who is signed to Young Money. He's a friend of mine. His name is Jay Jones. He's a really dope rapper, and he was on the record with Big X the Plug and Wayne on the Carter Six. And I feel like Jones could really use a, a good promotional push to really expose people to him, because he's rapping great and his social media is really great. But a good solid promotional push would get him out there, even
Mhm.
more.
Yes. Right.
Same thing with Alan Cubas, who signed to Young Money. He's a Spanish cat, a Latino cat who sings in English and Spanish. And same thing, he could use real like label support to push his records.
Okay. Now
So
we're
where
up
am
to
I?
the top five.
Top five? Okay.
Yes.
Top five. And this is like
The
the best
biggest
of this
selling.
time. Of this time.
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. All right. Well, how do I hmm. Of all time
Mm-hmm.
in this era?
Yes.
So I gotta say, if I had to put them in order,
Mm-hmm.
I would start with SZA
Oh yes, SZA.
as
Yes.
number
She
five
did a duet with Kendrick
with
Lamar.
Kendrick Lamar.
And
Yeah.
and she's best known for those LPs. I saw the latest
Hmm.
one. I was like, what is SZA doing out there in the river? With that diving board. It's like, what's she
Right.
doing? So that was the last album that I saw at the record store. I said, that's SZA out there.
Right. But
Yeah,
she,
so put SZA at number five.
yeah, I put SZA at number five in the top of all time right now.
Hmm.
Because her records, were doing really well, and
Uh-huh.
that Black Panther soundtrack, when the stars and let me know all the stars are closer. That record is crazy with Kendrick.
Hmm.
Um, so SZA,
And we're up to number four.
number four, rap wise, or rap or R&B, correct?
Right.
We got Cardi. You got to give Cardi her props.
Yes. Cardi B representing the Boogie Down
The Boogie
Bronx.
Down, the BX.
Yep.
You gotta give Cardi her props.
Hmm.
Then you got you got Drake.
Representing Canada.
Yeah, and Bruno.
Hmm.
And I would flip flop Drake or Bruno, but as far as selling, I would think that because Drake had 11 number one albums, so
Hmm.
I would technically put him before Bruno. Um, I mean, as number two instead of number three. And
Okay.
then, all time, I gotta go with Wayne because we've had 20 years of successful records, and Mrs. Officer doesn't go away, Lollipop doesn't go away,
Hmm.
and those records are lasting. They're standing the test of time. So I gotta put him at number one. And we sold 1.4 million in the first week. None of those other people did that.
Wow. Okay. Well, we
Yeah,
did pretty good. Those are the top 10 today's hip hop and R&B artists of all time. Well, Deezle, thank you so much for being here on the Black Soul Music
hmm,
Experience podcast. It's been a pleasure talking with you. I wish you continued success in whatever you do, and good luck to the song that is out right now on iTunes and on YouTube and some other things that you're doing while you're not performing. Wonderful cause. I
yeah.
salute you.
Thank you. Appreciate you. Thank you, Sam.
Okay. Alrighty. Now, before we go, where can we
Hmm.
follow you on social media?
Social media, I am Deezle Gets Grammys. So that's Deezle
Mhm,
Gets Gets Grammys,
mhm.
Grammys. And that's on Instagram, that's on TikTok, on YouTube, and Facebook.
Okay. Alrighty. Download all the artists that we have talked about on this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Visit iTunes.com, Spotify.com, or purchase a CD at Amazon.com. And make sure you check out Deezle's new song entitled My Hands on Your Body. It's available right now on iTunes.
Hmm.
And check out the music video also right now on YouTube. Follow him on Facebook, TikTok, and Instagram at Deezle Gets Grammys.
Yep.
And if you're sending your kid to a summer camp, make sure you look for Louis Armstrong's Jazz Camp. Just go to the home or the main page, like I
Hmm.
normally do, the home page. Just type in Louis Armstrong's Jazz Camp and find out more where you can have your children participate in everything what they desire to do.
Yeah.
And ladies and gentlemen, if you want to check out this episode, please subscribe to the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Look for me on these 5 platforms. I'm on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Pocket Cast. And the link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel Wilson Jr.'s. Don't forget to add the S to the end, studio. And I will be posting this episode on Facebook, LinkedIn, and Twitter. And if you have a hard time getting onto Riverside.fm, then please become a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience podcast and the number 6. Got a computer? Put in your email address and your password and go to the Patreon homepage where you can check out all of the Patreon shows done by different creators, and make sure you go to the search box and type in my podcast, the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast, and the number 6. You can check out all of my audio and video podcast episodes and my video podcast clips that you may have missed. And if you have a hard time getting on the Patreon, that I will be posting this episode on YouTube. Go to youtube.com/, the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. All you need to do is go to the YouTube homepage, go to the search box, and type in the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. If you like this episode, if you love my podcast, please subscribe, please support, please give me a thumbs up, please leave a comment, and please pass it on. Thank you for joining me as I close out this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience.
Thank you.
Well, that's about it for this edition of the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. I'm Sam Wilson Jr. Thank you for joining me, and please tune in next week for an all new episode. The Black Soul Music Experience podcast is sponsored by the support of listeners and viewers like you. If you enjoyed this podcast, please subscribe to the Black Soul Music Experience podcast. Look for my podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, and Pocket Cast. And don't forget the link. The link is riverside.fm/studio/Samuel Wilson Jr.'s studio. And don't forget to check out my audio and video podcast episodes by becoming a member and subscribe to patreon.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please check out my video podcast episodes by subscribing to youtube.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. And please leave your comments, feedbacks, and replies by going to my Facebook homepage. Go to facebook.com/the Black Soul Music Experience Podcast. You can also tweet me on X, aka Twitter, at Sam Wilson Jr. 66, and follow me on Instagram at SAMM.Y2980. As always, partying, remember this: reach for the top and your dreams will come true, and it can happen to you. From all of us, take care. God bless. Thanks for listening. Have a good week, and please be safe.